Hello, hello, hello. Today I want to share the importance of non attachment in our practice. And the reason for that is that after a couple of wonderful days in my practice, going deeper and extending my practice, yesterday I had a lot of resistance. I almost met my daily goal, quote unquote, but it was difficult and it was very challenging. And when these things happen, it is really easy for doubt to creep in into our consciousness. Mike Tyson, the famous boxer, had a saying. He said, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." And it is very true with my Zen practice as well. We set out with our practice, but when resistance arrives, it's easy to derail our practice. I'm not talking about just simple challenges of practice, but sometimes deep doubt might come up. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And so on and so forth. And yesterday, the the resistance was all bit challenging. And this morning, I got up and had my coffee, and I reflected, and I thought, "Am I going the right way? Am I doing the right things?" With resistance, is interesting. Sometimes you know instantly what the resistance is when you do the practice of felt sense. It may be seconds. You will know what it is, the deeper issues, if there are any. It might be minutes, it might be hours, a full day, it might take a week, it might take weeks. And the time between, it's easy to really start doubting it. Am I with the right teacher, teaching, etc.? Thankfully, I'm over most of it, but essentially, there is still this challenge with practice. Am I progressing? Am I not progressing? So this morning I was a little bit off, and I don't take these things seriously, honestly. But I give it some thought, and I was sitting outside on the porch thinking, having my coffee. You know, what was this resistance? How did I do? Blah blah. And I opened this book, this wonderful book, The Mind of Zen by Harada Shodo Roshi, not to be confused with late Harada Roshi, who passed away in early 1970s, I believe. Wonderful guy as well. And I wanted to read you this quote that I really opened and started reading. It was this very sentence. It says, "Be like flowing water, not stagnating, not freezing. No matter what limitations may appear, simply keep flowing in your mind. This is your healthy mind." So it basically says, be like flowing water, not stagnating, not freezing. And that sentence really spoke with me, and I looked up the chapter, and this is a commentary on Joshua's famous koan. I'm sure you must be familiar with Joshua, but he was a legendary teacher in, I believe, 1800s China, a Zen teacher who lived to be 120 years old and just quite legendary. His koan of what is Mu is one of the most used koans in Zen, in Rinzai Zen at least. And this particular one is when he was at the monastery. I don't remember if it was his monastery or he was visiting one of the other monasteries. And there was a novice, new monk, young monk, and he said, "Look, I'm a new monk, and I was wondering, I'm a novice. I was wondering if you have any advice for me on the path." And Joshua, being this wise old man, simply asked, "Have you had breakfast?" And the monk said, "Yes, I have had breakfast." And then he said, "Then go wash your bowls." There is so much wisdom in that quote, which this sentence that I just read is a commentary of. And we can look at it different ways. Now, nourishment and eating quite often is the same thing as spiritual understanding, spiritual nourishment, and so on and so forth. And Jesus said the same thing. He says, why do you worry about tomorrow? Focus on today. And then he says, give us this day our daily bread. It seems to be a theme. But what really it means to me is, once you're done with the practice, don't get attached to it, right? In anything really, there are ups and downs. It's part of our practice. We go to work, sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days. We go to the gym, some days it's a challenge to even put ourselves into the effort of doing what we have to do. Other days we just can't wait to get to the gym. And this particular koan, which says, have you had breakfast? Yes. Go wash your bowls, means do not get attached. In my understanding, do not get attached to your practice or any sort of conceptualizations, so to speak. And this chapter talks about that. Once again, it is easy to be to start doubting our practice and so on and so forth. But what has really worked for me, and I'm just sharing my experience, is always to go back to the practice. I always ask myself what has worked in the last many years in my spiritual path, and it always comes down to true, sincere, deep meditation. That's the only thing that ever has helped me in any way, shape, or form. That's the only thing that nourishes me really, in a way, and also is the one that keeps me going on the spiritual path and progress, basically. So I read it and I'm like, oh yes, I need to go back to my practice. Do not worry about how it was yesterday. Do not worry about how it will be tomorrow. Just sit and commit yourself to practice and just sit into it. As my teacher says, just sit. We're angry, just sit. You're jealous somehow, just sit and practice meditation. And if we can't really get into it, then do the felt sense. Just feel your body, how you're feeling at that very moment. So yeah, disaster avoided. I read that book, that line, and it really made me realize that we always have to go back to the same practice and not to conceptualize ideas about spirituality, about practice, about the world. And this chapter goes on to say something that I made a video of, which is our greatest gift to the world. As we deepen our practice, as we commit in and pursue our practice over long periods of time, we change. We change so much. And that change transfers to our family, friends, co-workers, community, city, and country, as this wonderful book says. So practice is really, for me, everything. It does not include just sitting on a cushion, obviously, and that's probably something that is also apparent in the practice. Everything we do is really meditation. So washing our bowls is a famous way of doing meditation, walking, talking with other people, and stuff will come up. Especially with my coworkers, I change projects all the time. Stuff always comes up. And that's like meditation. When we sit and meditate, things come up and we deal with it. Anyways, that's all I wanted to share today. Non-attachment in our practice. And this beautiful, beautiful koan, go wash your bowls. Don't get attached to concepts of how do I get ahead? How do I not do this? How do I do that in my practice? Just go back to that simple, pure mind, as Harada Roshi here says. And that's really all we have to do. If it has worked for him, I'm sure it will work for you as well. So yeah, that's a very, very important koan, very meaningful koan. And I realized today again that yes, the only thing that has helped me in many, many years is that practice of meditation. And nothing, no good days, no bad days, no doubt should interfere with that. All right, that's it for today. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and looking forward to talking to you next time.